cry. I don't feel anything. There we go. That's happening.
Classic comedian.
I don't feel
Do
shit.
people crying annoy you?
Yes, they do.
Yes,
Like, why you feel that on the inside like normal people.
Yeah.
All right, there we go. We're going now. So the first thing I wanted to say to you is when you walked in, I told what I say. So you looked different. You looked like you were in shape. I didn't want to tell you looked fit. I just want to tell you you look different. You look really different.
Yeah,
you do look fit, actually. You look like you lost a bunch of weight. You
laying
weren't fat
off
before.
the booze. I was, as I joked on my podcast, I was putting on like Baldwin weight. Like none of them are really fat, but they're not in shape. They got those pizza, cake, and Guinness torsos.
Padding in weird places because they're all kind of yoked a little bit. Like they got like their lats or their traps or whatever.
It's called button-down shirt shape. And it's one of those things where, as a guy, you continue to lift as you eat like shit. So you're putting muscle on bacon double cheeseburgers. Right? That's what I had going on. And I was approaching. I was approaching $190, and I am only I'm just
a tiny
just
man.
A shade under 5'10". I would say I'm average height, but as this next generation comes up with their processed food, I think they're getting a couple extra inches with all the horse tranquilizers they're putting in there. So
you're a nerd. Actually, if someone asked me about you, like in your absence, I would say that
he's
you were
a piece
tall.
of shit.
No. I'd say that too, but I'm just talking about your height. I'm talking about the quality of your personality. I would say that you're like. Someone asked me, say he's tall. I'd say we were like about the same height.
Right.
So Leif, like you said, you're 5'10". 5'10", 190.
I'm one of the few guys who doesn't lie about his height.
About his height, you don't add it.
I'm Doug Flutie height. I'm 5'9" and 3/4. And the amount of times I've been in bars and I asked somebody, "How tall are you?" And they're a little shorter than me. They're like 5'11".
You're like, no.
They go, "How tall are you?"
On.
No, I don't even say it. They go, "How tall are you?" I go, 5'9" and 3/4. Good night. You're like 6'1". No. In your world, in your life, with your metric system there, yeah, maybe. Are you in kilometers? I don't know what you're doing.
Hilarious. I'm 2.7 pound. Yeah, but so you stopped drinking, and then
I had to. It's just I'm a road dog. I go out every 2 weeks.
People don't understand that about comedy. That it is even if you're not like a drinker in the traditional sense of like being an alcoholic, booze is unavoidable.
It's free.
It's free, and it's
after
even
every
forced on
gig,
you.
it's free. I always ask my people like that. I just say like, if you had a job where when you were done, it was open bar and. In a lot of places
on
the job.
Yeah, they'd bring you.
Yes.
Would you like a beer at your desk,
yes.
sir? Would you
and
like a booze?
The
in
people
your
you work with will send a shot up if you just even hint about it. I was drinking Jameson the other night, and then all of a sudden somebody sends you up one,
like a kettle of Jamesons comes up,
and then a crowd of peer pressure. Do it, do the
What's
shot.
Wrong with you? Yeah, like that's first of all, there's so much pressure. I don't even know where it comes from because I haven't stopped drinking, but I am trying to cut back. And
last time I remember you're a bourbon
I
girl.
still love bourbon. I'll always love bourbon. I would have sex with bourbon if it was a dude.
Yeah.
Like I'm getting drunk and laid at the same time. What's happening? But I'm trying to be I'm just trying to be more judicious. You know what I mean? Because you feel it. You just first of all, you start to feel like fuck the weight or your discipline or height. You just feel it so much more. When you wake up you have that thing where you wake up at 4 a.m. like, oh, I shouldn't have had that second glass of wine.
No, I had my bottoming out thing was I think I was somewhere in Texas, and me and DeRosa were riding. We're riding in this waitress's car. And classic.
Well, of course you were. Why wouldn't you be waiting in a waitress's car?
We're riding to some house party, and she's doing the whole.
Again, why wouldn't you be riding to a house party in a waitress's car? This is the glamour of stand-up, folks. I don't think you knew. I got picked up in a bitch's 1986 Honda to go to a dude's house I don't know and drink keg beer out of a plastic cup because I roll like that. I'm a headliner.
That was it, and she was saying shit like, I have I'm sorry, I have a cat. So, they're covered in hair. And I show up, and at one point, I'm hammered playing with a bulldog. That's all I remember going, this thing is awesome.
Oh, God.
And somebody finally...
That's always the last resort of the wasted, start talking to house pets.
Yeah, somebody said to me, going like, because they weren't at the show, you're that comedian guy. Right, I'm like, yeah. And they go, well, you did a couple sketches on Chappelle's show. And I was like, yeah. And he goes... It's like, dude, I can't believe you're here.
Why are you here?
Yeah, and then I actually thought, I was like, totally, stroke my ego. Then I thought for half a second, like, yeah, why am I
here?
My dad had 5 kids by the time he was my age. Okay, I'm a fucking loser.
And I'm drinking in the backyard of a stranger's house and talking to his dog. Yeah.
Joe, on the other hand, of course, was having a great time.
Joe was living it up.
Living it up.
He's got pot.
No, he wasn't. Joe did nothing illegal.
No, well, is pot really illegal anymore? Or is it just frowned upon?
Well, out here it's ridiculous.
It's just crazy. People are so. I feel like we're in fucking Canada. Like you just walk by, people just smoking dope on the street.
Yeah,
they don't even try to hide it anymore.
I don't think a
17-year-old dude can really carry off the glaucoma fucking act.
Oh, I have back pain.
Yeah, I got some constricted blood vessels in my left leg that require me to get high all day long.
I don't think that. I think weed is it's just. I know it's kind of like on the same level as booze, where you can abuse it, and then some people can just sort of smoke it, and it's fine.
And they like high functioning potheads.
Like Rogan. Like I've anytime I like if I smoke weed or have a pot cookie, that's it. I am a giggling silly mess. And then I get paranoid, and then I just want to be in a small room where it's safe.
Yeah.
And Rogan,
no mirrors.
Yeah, Rogan will write like another 2 hours of brilliant material, and just totally be functioning. I'm like jealous of it.
Right.
Like he gets like insanely like
productive,
creative, and like focused. I don't know. It's a. We're trying to adjust the podcast table here.
Bill, I want Bill to have adequate.
What's weird? You bought the shortest microphone cords here, so I feel like I have to hunch over. This is like doing a podcast and coach.
Yeah, it is economy, middle seat, Greyhound bus. You know what it is? When I bought my equipment, I wanted the smallest footprint because I wanted to be able to put all my shit in my purse because I'm a girl.
Right.
That's the one part of being a girl that like really was dictated. Like, what's the least amount of shit I can carry with me? So I podcast into my iPad, and then I have 2 phones, and then like just some stuff, and I could do it without the stands. You know what I mean? Yeah, I can be anywhere.
I have my little $90 mixer.
Yeah,
that I bring with me. Yeah,
3 channels.
I do the same thing, and anytime I send it through, there's always, if I'm in some like state like I don't know, some corny state, they'll be like, what is that? Some sort of a device?
A device for blowing shit up?
for blowing shit up, and they'll look it up.
By blowing shit up, you mean mixing up the beats and rhymes?
Yeah,
then
exactly.
I'll blow shit up at the club. So
I don't think you can make those jokes post 9/11. I think pre 9/11, I think it would be funny.
You can't even laugh in line. Like I was just flying through Santa Fe, and we were laughing, and we got like a hairy ass eyeball from the TSA guy. Like there'll be no mirth in line.
There's no middle ground with those guys. They're either psycho level, like nothing's getting by this guy, or they're singing with the music that's playing.
Yeah, right. And like updating Facebook. Like you look to see if they're looking at an X-ray of your bag, and they're just updating their Facebook status.
I don't do the full body either.
Really?
I opt out, and then I laugh when they.
Muslim religion prevents you from being touched by
No, it's like I'm not getting head to toe radiation. Going out, coming back, going out, coming back. So I go out twice a month.
On the plane, you get radiation on the plane. You actually get more radiation in your flight than you get on the.
So why add to it?
Yeah, why?
Why add to it?
Because you want to win. You want your tumor to be the biggest out of everybody. So you don't want to have like a half-assed tumor.
I want to go quickly. No, I just. I don't know. The whole thing is just stupid.
So then what? So if they say.
Pat me down, and it's more uncomfortable for the them. Dude doing it for me, and I'm laughing. Every time when they go, I'm going to touch this area here. Is that okay? I'm like, yeah, do it up. When they do the back of the hand over my buttocks, it's just funny to me.
Bill just wears like really baggy hip hop pants and no underwear. Yeah, get in there, buddy. Get in there. You never know what I could be hiding.
Do your job. It's not gay on my end. I'm not doing anything. I'm standing with my hands up. You're touching me.
I don't even know what's in there. So
you're touching me.
Let me know. What did I put down there? I can't remember. I have short-term amnesia.
No, I don't. And I also don't like when I stand in the line where they don't have it, and then they see me, and then they tell me to go over there. It's just
you look suspicious.
I'm a control freak. I do not. I look like Ron Howard. I really don't. And not even Richie Cunningham, Ron Howard. My thinning hair. I look like Ron Howard right around the time when he was directing Splash, when he never took the baseball hat off again.
You still got most of your hair. Your hair looks great, actually. You used to shave your head, and you have a lot of hair, Bill.
I did a preemptive strike.
Did you?
I was starting.
You were worried about it.
I was starting to go, and I just said, I'm not a Rogaine guy. I'm not a hair plug guy.
You're not going to rub creams on your head every day.
Look, unlike you, I'm not a sex symbol, so I can age naturally.
I
don't have to. Yeah,
that people cannot see how anti-sex symbol I'm. I've literally washed my hair, slept on it, and then stuffed it up.
Oh, and your corduroy hat.
My corduroy. I got
awful.
A hipster doofus.
You know how psyched I was to do. She's going to come in looking like a supermodel.
Why the fuck would I dress up to do a podcast? Well, who am I? Fucking a Kardashian?
Yeah. You look like you have like a 1.6 grade point average right now. Your parents are calling you. That's how you're fucking. I'm really disappointed. Girl on Guy podcast. I really expect them. I'm like, we're at this. There's
gonna be
cool
visual
place.
aids. There's gonna be porn. You know what you got? You got another fucking comedian.
Nothing.
Just
you know what I feel like? I feel like we're in a 3-year relationship. And you don't give a shit anymore.
I don't give a shit.
You don't.
I've known your ass for like 15 years. You don't
It's
get
over.
shit from me.
It's boring.
I don't even have shoes on. I came in here with fucking flip flops. You get nothing. You get mental love. You get no physical love. So let's go back to you petting the bulldog in fucking Iowa in the backyard and feeling
Texas.
Okay.
So I love bulldogs, but I got talked out of them because people talk to them like if you're ever going to buy like an English car,
right?
It's the same thing, like just the amount of money it's going to cost in maintenance.
Expensive.
Yeah, and they just tell me, they got the flap in the back. You got to cut that down. That's like $8,000.
The flap in the back. What's that on the back of their neck?
No, in the back of their mouth. Like they have tremendous problems breathing.
Oh, because they're
out of the womb, they can't breathe.
Inbred, right?
Yeah. Well, yeah. I don't know what it is.
I think they just breed these purebred dogs with each other, and they just end up like developing crappy.
Yeah, they have that, but also they were bred to I don't know. Fuck with bulls, basically. I hope that's not too technical. So basically,
I learned something. Just some science.
So they wanted them to be like that, and evidently they didn't care that they were going to have problems breathing. So
so they always have to have surgery, just like baseline surgery.
Well, there's stuff that you look like when you buy like a bulldog. Like people tell me, I can't even remember half the stuff. Like look at the like their nostrils to make sure it's got a nice. And I was just like, oh my god!
Get a leftover dog from the pound.
No, so we got a pit bull instead.
Did you? Oh, that's good. Not planning on having kids.
She's awesome. No, they're great with kids.
Except for when they eat them.
No,
they do.
They don't.
I'll Google bulldog ate my baby and see how many kids come up.
They you know what they're like. They're like how black people get treated in the news.
Don't make this a race thing.
One person,
a whole hour and a half for it to
one
be a race
person
thing.
snatches a purse in your community, and then that's it. You're going to get kicked out of your gated community, and that's how the pit bulls. Their nickname used to be nannies. They used to use them to watch kids. The little rascals. Petey was a pit bull.
All right,
and it all comes down to the ownership. And I'll tell you this right now: I am a high-strung psycho, and my dog was becoming a high-strung psycho, and I had to take it to a trainer. And he worked way more on me than he did on the dog. And now I'm chill. And this is actually how I know if I'm going to, like when I drive with my dog, which is in a Prius, which is hilarious. Total Gemini.
Gay it up.
Total Gemini. No, but I got the pit bull, so it's confusing you.
It is. Well, no, I bet you actually that there are a lot of guys who would love. It's like because it's got a butch, but then you're progressive. You got the little Prius, and then you got the
no, but they know that I didn't get it to fight it. They know that I rescued it the second I see the Prius.
You got some of those like vegan dog biscuits in there. Oh, he wants to hold hands.
So this is how I know is if the dog if it's up near, we put the seat down, but if it's up near me, I know I'm driving fine. But if it's backed way to the back of the hatchback, that's when I know I'm driving like a psycho because I'm slamming on the brakes and it's digging in. No, it's digging in so it doesn't, because it doesn't have a seatbelt.
Now you got a Prius and you got a bulldog and you're feeding them vegan biscuits. Pit bull. And you don't have like a little doggy seat for him. That would be the epitome. I'm gonna follow you with my iPhone until I just see you like strapping that dog in a little doggy seat.
I'd do it if it would let. No, my dog would rip it apart. It doesn't like
fully an LA person
to be constrained. I would have bought a. Wow. If I lived in Nebraska, I would have bought a Dodge Challenger because I could drive it. That's the car I want to get, but you can't fucking drive them anywhere out here.
Yeah, you can't open them up at all. You can't open anything up out here.
No, unless it's 2 a.m, and then you have like an 80% chance that they're going to be doing construction.
Or they're going to. I feel like the last 5 guys that opened up their cars on the 101 either went to jail or the hospital. Yeah. Right? You know what I mean? like who? I feel like somebody did this. Was it Sally? Somebody recently opened up like an Italian car on the 101 and just.
Oh, and died.
One guy died.
No, the guy from the tap out.
Oh, right.
Like
just
down
died,
there,
right?
yeah. He opened his up down there.
There's no opening up your car.
Yeah, you can't.
No, we live in Montana, is where you can open shit up.
That's right.
Because you're not going to hit anything. You're not even going to hit a cow.
You can hit a deer.
Don't want. Yeah,
hit a deer.
There's some spots in Montana they don't have any speed limit at all, right?
Yeah, I think so. I think that's only 2 states I've never been.
That's because they don't have any taxes in that state, so they can't afford police.
Is that right? Yeah, and then everybody gets a gun?
Yeah, everybody gets a gun. Just fucking, let's just defend yourself, man. Call us. We'll get there within the half day.
Yeah.
Yeah, if there's some...
I think that's a great way to live.
to just defend
It's proactive. It's like getting a manager, an agent, and being like, okay, I don't have to do anything now.
Oh, that's true.
They're just they're gonna help me out. Like, cops are gonna get there when they get there. So if you have an immediate problem,
well, you should be prepared. Everybody should be prepared.
You should have that gun behind the glass.
I'll say that right now. Anybody who has a fantasy of jumping over my fence and asking me to marry them, I will shoot you in the face, and we can talk about it when you're on your back.
Yeah.
And
all that'll do is just hype viewership of your projects.
Right? Without, like, I'll just go out like a champ. Broadcast out of it. If you could have Facebook in jail, I'm sure you could podcast from jail. All right. We're never going to get through the story.
What kind of gun do you got? It's really no big deal.
6 hour.
You got. I don't even know what that is.
It's what's the?
Is it a revolver? Is it a Glock?
It's a Glock style. It's automatic. 8 and then I think 8 in the cartridge and 1 in the chamber.
Oh, all right.
Yeah, it's a nice gun.
I was in this place in Utah, not Utah.
I should know. I didn't buy it for myself. All you people who love guns and think I'm an asshole for not knowing that. It's like, it was purchased for me, and I fire it, once a month to make sure that if I have to shoot at a person, I'll hit them. But I don't know. I need to know more about guns.
I'm trying to talk to my girl into getting one.
It's a long, slow process trying to get a girl to bring a gun in the house. I like to shoot guns, and I shot them on movies.
You do the shoes trade.
Oh.
Like, how many shoes do I need to get you so I can get this?
It wasn't that difficult for me. I love guns. So, you know what my husband did? I was talking about buying a gun, and we just started going and shooting. That's the way to do it. Take your girls.
Right.
Girls are usually great shots because we're a little bit calmer, a little less tense than guys are when we hold a gun, unless you have somebody who's just like a hyper kind of tensive person. But women generally are a little calmer when they squeeze, and they're a little bit more accurate with their firing. So you take her, show her what a great shot she is. Then you get.
Then I go in there.
Yeah,
All right.
That was how it worked for me. I was like, oh fuck, I lit that fucking piece of paper up, and then I got a gun after that.
I went in Texas. Shotgun's very forgiving. You can definitely hit the target with that. But the
shotgun.
Then he gives me like I never really fired a gun.
Shotgun, you just close your eyes and point forward. You're gonna hit something. Yeah, that's great.
People keep telling me that's the one that you want because the other shit's gonna go through the wall and maybe hit somebody you don't want to hit. But like, I just think. I don't know. It's tight quarters. You're in a house, and also you want to get the guy. You don't want to have to do a bunch of spackling. You know what I mean? I'm trying. I already got to clean the blood off the wall.
Killing a man.
Yeah, I don't need to go down to Home Depot buying some plaster and all that shit. Yeah, I don't need that.
Well, here's the thing. I might be wrong about this. I'm sure I'm going to get a bunch of new and exciting, different mail than I normally get. Guys who advocate a shotgun, part of it is, A, you're not going to miss, right? B is you're going to have to think about it a little bit longer before you pull the trigger. Because mainly how people get shot in home with home ownership is by accident, right? It's too easy to pull a handgun out and fire it without thinking. And your girl gets up in the middle of the night to take a pee, you're sleepy, you hear a noise, you jump up, you shoot your spouse, your girlfriend, your boyfriend. That happens.
Is that how it goes down? People don't go like Aisha. They don't say that first.
I mean, apparently that would be nice.
You actually shoot the dog.
Pinky.
I don't buy into any of this shit where people say, you got. The second you put a gun in the house, you have an 80% higher chance to get you. It's because people are morons.
People are idiots.
But that doesn't mean you shouldn't get a gun. There's people texting while driving, killing people every day. Does that mean I shouldn't have a car? Just because...
No, it just means you shouldn't text and drive.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. And
I mean, I would prefer it if look, I'm not I love violence in films. I'm not a gun advocate, but I'm not anti-gun. I think it would be great if nobody had a gun and we had to fucking beat each other to smithereens.
Utopia.
That's what I'd prefer. Not even utopia.
That would be a utopia.
Utopia wouldn't be fighting.
Utopia is if they made guns illegal, everybody would abide by the law.
That was really what I was proposing. I was just proposing if we didn't have guns, and if you were going to come and kill me, I had at least a 40% chance of beating the shit out of you first. Right? Even it up. You know what I mean? Like if you're gonna come and kill me, you're gonna have to look at my eyes.
Easy. Big, tall, goofy girl like you. I'd go with the leg sweep. I'd sweep you right there.
I might go down quickly, but I'm good in close. I'm good in close quarters combat. I fight dirty and dig all in your eyeballs. And
all women fight dirty. You guys, you know what? This is the thing too. You guys don't play fight either. Anytime you play fight with a girl, you're just kind of going 8%, and they come at you like 100%. They're like, wham! You're just like, Jesus Christ.
I like to wrestle. I'm not a play fighter, but I do like play wrestling. But I just think like as a girl, you have to play dirty because you're in a real combat situation. When I was on CSI,
if a guy's really attacking you, absolutely ball bag.
When I was on CSI,
right
there was a guy who was like the tech advisor, right? And he had been a sheriff. I asked him all about the female cops he's with just for research, and he was saying I had a lot of female partners. They obviously had to be in really great shape, but a lot of them just didn't have the height or the reach. They just were never going to have the advantage over a guy even the same size as them. And I said, so what they do? He's like, well, we were in a situation where it seemed like the guy was going to get within range of them. Shoot him. We can figure out what his question was afterwards. And I was like, yes, because she's never.
But that's not even surprising.
I'm not surprised.
That doesn't surprise me because that's how you guys process stuff like the end of a relationship. Like this, just all of a sudden.
Why is this about chicks and not about cops?
They're burning up shit.
I've never set anybody's shit on fire. I must be more like a dude. I'm like, just.
Why is it about chicks? Earlier you said, you just made a blanket statement that women are better at shooting guns because they're common. No, and I actually would go with that. But if you flip that around, if I was to say that there would be like, that's misogynistic. Oh my God. I am like so calm.
Don't bring your 3 years of hate mail from your fucking podcast onto my show.
3 years? I've been doing it 4 years.
What? Oh shit.
I don't get a lot of hate mail. I don't think I have a lot of female listeners. I think the female listeners that I have are being held hostage by their boyfriends in their cars. No, come on, he's funny.
He's great, right?
Come on, you do that, right? And by the time they get to the casino, there's like some sort of domestic violence.
He's locked out of the room.
No, my podcast is it's on purpose, over the top, and way beyond what I do in my act. Yeah. It's just something like I never really talk about sex or
your podcast is nothing like your act.
Yeah,
I think. I mean, you talk about relationships and stuff, but the show is funny. Knowing you for as long as I have, and then listening to the podcast, I'm like, that's just Bill in a room laughing at his own jokes. It kills me. You're really, really funny, and all of a sudden you crack yourself up. You have to like push yourself away from the mic, and I think that's so. It's like. I already know what you're going to sound like when you're 90 and like the whole family's left the room and you're just in there alone with your fucking jelly jar full of schnapps. Another thing.
No, one of my favorite things to do is to irritate people or annoy them. So whatever I'm talking about, it's a very simple formula. Like I went off on Rednecks a few weeks ago. And it's improv.
You push.
So people what they'll do is they'll tweet me stuff that I say, and it makes me laugh because I don't necessarily remember all of it.
Well, they'll like pull like one little phrase out of what you
something
said.
About the babies come out and their feet are already dirty. And I remember saying it, but I wasn't thinking about it. And somebody sent it to me, so I get a double laugh. Like I'll say it makes me laugh, and then it's because it's improv. I forget it, and I get on with my life. And then someone sends it to me. And they make me laugh, and then I always show them to my girl, and she goes, "You said that's not funny. That isn't funny."
I do a thing at the end of the show every week where I recap whatever I said during the show that people might be upset about, just saving them the trouble of going and writing me an angry letter.
Oh, there you go.
I'm just like, look. If you want an apology, I'm just going to give it to you right now. Just fucking enjoy your afternoon. Don't spend it composing some like angry letter to me. I'm just going to say, I know that was so fucked up. I know that was inappropriate. Yes, I'm an asshole. Have a nice day.
I have a bunch of techniques for people who do stuff like that. Yeah. You send them what seems to be like a form letter. But you disguise
like
it.
Mad Lib.
No, you send it where it's disguised just enough where you act like you think that you're fooling them. Mm-hmm. Like, hey, fan of Aisha, after they totally trashed you. Glad you enjoyed the show. Blah 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 blah. And you try to make it just a little bit personal by saying their name and then putting that in there so they see it's like a formula. That drives them nuts. Another one is you hit reply without writing anything. And if they really come off like an egomaniac, what you do is you send them a rebuttal with spelling mistakes and just watch how into their ego they're going to go. And it just totally, yeah, it's hilarious. They get
it's THEY apostrophe R-E.
Oh yeah, no,
buddy.
It's awesome.
Oh, that's hilarious.
It's awesome. Or I'll just write something back that just is sort of insulting but connected to nothing, like typical, or what about last week? And then I'll just send it and make. What does that even mean? And just knowing that they're losing their mind, is
okay. So but I'm gonna impose some linearity on this conversation. Two comedians should never try to have a fucking like one directional. It's impossible. We're gonna try.
Yeah.
So you decided after this trip in Texas that you were gonna stop drinking.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And
Yeah,
was that
somewhere
like
in
a
there.
cold turkey?
Yeah.
It was easy for you to just stop?
No, it's still hard. And I finally pushed through. What happens is when I quit drinking, because I've done this before, is I don't feel like, oh, yeah, this is all. I feel good in the morning, but at night it's hard.
Oh, yeah.
And then it goes to the point, it's not like the wanting to drink fades away.
Yeah.
It's the quantity of how much I want to drink increases. Like, I'll like not drinking for a week is like, I could really go for like 3-4 beers. Next week, dude, if you had a 12-pack in front of me and it just keeps, now I'm like fantasizing that when I come off the wagon, I want to go to like Oktoberfest and just be like double fisting.
Like a Stein on wheels.
That's the thing is like, I'm not like an alcoholic. Like I don't have DTs. It never really affected my life other than, physically. But I love it.
Yeah,
that's the
I
thing.
love it too.
And I love hanging out. I love talking shit.
Oh, yeah.
I love
the whole experience.
The
not
whole
just the
experience
booze, but everything
is
about
awesome.
the drinking experience is wonderful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But and it just got to the point where I was just hanging out with people I shouldn't have been hanging out with. After the shows, like I have a theory that the last 10 people in line, 8 of them on purpose wanted to be that person, and they're so they can corner you.
Oh, yeah.
And suggest,
Hey, buddy, let's get some shots, man.
Yeah.
My buddy's got it.
Yeah.
My buddy's gonna go get some rotisserie chicken,
Right.
And we're gonna eat it in his driveway. Don't you want to come? Yeah, I'm
Yep.
dying.
And
to eat
I
rotisserie
always
chicken in his
said,
driveway.
yeah, what do I want to do? Go back to the hotel room by myself and just sit there and listen to the air conditioner going on and off? Yeah, let's go do it. And then I would end up in these situations where the person who drove me was too drunk, or I'd go there and all of a sudden
you're with strangers.
And then all of a sudden, hardcore drugs are being done.
Oh, no.
I've had that a few times. I think that was Kansas City. And I'm just like...
Out. I want out.
Yeah, I remember one time hanging out with this waitress. She was gorgeous. And we go out and we start drinking. And then I swear to God, she starts burping
Oof.
like a 400-pound guy.
Oh,
like
God.
obnoxious.
Oh.
And I want to be at one point like, listen, I'm not trying to fuck you. So if that's like your
Either your deterrent
rape
or your
whistle.
test, like either your rape whistle, either your deterrent or your like litmus test, or whether I can take it, like what kind of a man I am. Like, am I still going to find you attractive after you burp in my face?
So fucking like she
Gross.
could be on the floor below us and we'd hear it, and it lasted like it was like a solid
Like alphabet?
6 seconds. It was just like,
Really disturbing.
yeah, it was
No, I don't
awful.
wanna be
So
around
anyway, so I
I don't
continue.
want to fuck her either.
I continue to hang out with her, and
Of course you
I
did.
end up
Why
at this
wouldn't
place
you?
where I can't tell what people are on, and this guy is being like overly abusive to his dog, like doing the hey, knock it off, and like jerking it with the thing like really bad. And I was just going like, I got to get out of here because I'm going to punch that guy, and that guy can kick the shit out of me. But my love of dogs
Right.
is overpowering my
common sense.
Yeah, don't get your ass
My
kicked
self-
thing. Yeah,
my
it was really bad.
self-preservation
It
instinct.
was really bad. So I kind of stopped doing that.
That's also something that maybe, I don't know. I'm sure there are other female comics who would say they've been in that situation before, but because I'm a chick, I just have never, ever taken an invitation from any fan.
No.
Ever.
Well, no.
No, I never have. I mean,
Yeah.
talk about sitting in your hotel room and listening to the fucking air conditioning. I mean, then
Oh.
it's like, I'm going to go back, watch 3 or 4 episodes of Law and Order, fuck up some,
Yeah, but this
some
is the thing.
almonds.
But once you get back to the hotel room, it takes me 5 minutes of being pissed that I didn't go out and have fun. And then once I'm watching Sports Center, I'm psyched.
You're happy, right? Yeah,
I'm
you
like,
can grab
oh,
a beer
good.
from the hotel bar. You can drink a beer in your
Yeah.
room if you want to. I mean, it doesn't even feel sad to me. It's like, I'm going to be at this place for 4 days. My priority is to put on the best show I can.
Right.
And, I'm writing or I'm doing other shit when I'm
How
in my
old
room
do
and I'm
we
working
sound
out.
right now?
I know. It's
I got to give the crowd a show. I make sure I get 8 hours sleep.
I want to be fresh, mentally acute.
That's terrible.
Yeah, it's funny. I know a lot of guys talk about, especially comedians who've been doing comedy for about the amount of time that we've been doing it, who start to talk about not drinking anymore. And I know people have this idea about comedy that it's like the drugs and the partying, but there's just the everyday, like, like the everyday constant presence of free booze that will make you like a workman-like drinker. Not
No,
even,
you're,
you
no.
know what I mean? Not
If
even
you
a
go
drunk.
if you go by the like, if you ever gone to get a physical and they say, do you have more than 8 drinks a week?
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, a week. weekend, one night. What are you talking about? And it's just like, just to let you know, 13 to 14 a week is technically considered now like something ridiculously low.
Like 2 drinks a night for 7 nights in a row, which would seem like a reasonable drinking. You are not even a binge drinker. Yeah, an alcoholic.
Yeah, their weekly amount to me is a brutal night.
I think it's like +5. I feel like do you have more than 5 drinks a week?
It's more than that.
Is it?
But it's shockingly, well, considering there's 7 days, you're supposed to, you can have 1 drink a day. I heard is healthy. Is actually good for you. But if you have, it's more than 2, averaging out like 2 drinks a day. It's something ridiculously low, which I'm sure someone will send an email. Actually, it's 17.5.
You can see
whatever.
It in the chart.
Yeah, whatever. It's something ridiculously low. So, so I guess technically I was, but I didn't have.
Well, but it's funny because habit and disease are like very, very close together. So, like for example, when I was drinking, God, I sound much more clinical than I think. I don't think my drinking this way, but when I was, there was a period where I was drinking every day, right? But I'd have a glass of wine or 2 every night, right? And then on the weekends I'd have a couple of cups. Yeah, like being a person, right? I'm a fucking adult. I don't have children. What are you judging me for there?
Exactly.
Interwebs. So I have a couple drinks a night, mate. And on the weekend, that's when you have a cocktail before dinner. You have a couple drinks, like a couple glasses of wine with dinner. So I was doing that every day. And then there was a period where I was like, if I didn't have a drink, I was like, man, I'd really like a drink right now.
Right.
It never got to the point where I was like, I gotta have a drink. But there was definitely like, if you don't have one, you miss it.
It's like
I'd
ice
love
cream.
to have a drink. It's 5 o'clock, man. Sun's going down. It is time to have a drink.
Right.
That was when I started to think, not that I'm an alcoholic, but like I don't ever want to be in a position where I feel like I can't.
There's a fork in the road you hit after you've done the road for a while, and you either go I got to clean up my act and try and age as gracefully as I can, or you just become that hot mess.
You got to take 2 steps down the street and you look at your future. They're all around you. When you look at anybody your age and they look your age.
It catches up. It catches up. Like if I'm 43. Mm-hmm. So if I had continued to go hard, because I had a period in my 20s when I was just totally focused. I'm real codependent too. If I hang out with drinkers, I drink. If I don't, I don't. I can just go with the flow, right?
Right.
So when I started in Boston. I started out with Robert Kelly, Dane Cook, Patrice O'Neill, and none of them were drinkers. So I just, by hanging out with them and just doing comedy 7 nights a week, all of a sudden I was thinking like, wow, I barely drink anymore. And I kind of did that right through like my mid-30s. And then when I met that piece of shit Joe DeRosa, when he, I'm joking, I started hanging with DeRosa. DeRosa was, 9 years younger than me, so, I was like...
He's all sprightly and shit.
Yeah, he's like 24, 25, fucker. And I had just got out of a relationship, and then for like 4 or 5 years, I think I drank more in the last 4 or 5 years than I drank when I was like in my heyday, and...
Right.
But I've run into guys I've gone to school with, and it's like if you just go hard for 20 years, you start getting those what do they call those things? The wallflower? Not wallflower?
Gin blossoms.
Gin blossom. There you go.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
You start getting those,
like an old guy in a cartoon, man, like W.C. Fields.
Yeah.
Totally.
You start getting those, and it's like
and it pops up on you, like you see buddies of yours. The key, or like the critical kind of test, is to go find someone you grew up with, who has a totally different life than you. And you're the same age, and look at what they look like now. Because even without getting too personal, they're just people in my life that are my age that we all kind of kept it together. And then there are guys that I went to high school with, and they just exploded.
They said, fuck it.
They fucking exploded. Yeah. Right? Not just like they put on the weight, but like just exploded like an IED, right? Like just shit's hanging off, and like their face is a different shape
even
now.
Their eyes are unrecognizable.
Yeah, right? Everything about the guys are just a hot mess. And you're like, that guy is 10 years older than me. If I didn't know and you asked me, I'd say, he's got 10 years on me.
Yeah. So that's the thing. It gets to that. So basically, what I'm saying, I'm not an alcoholic, was a total vanity thing. It's just like I don't want to.
Looking good on the outside is looking good on the inside, man.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like they affect each other. Right? You don't want to be one of these old guys limping around and sad and heaving and gasping for air.
No.
I
don't. I don't. I even think I've actually come to the point that I think going to the gym is fucking stupid. That you wouldn't have to go to the gym if you didn't eat like shit. If you're just walking and going for hikes and doing some push-ups, pull-ups,
like some body weight exercise.
But jumping on an elliptical machine and doing that movement for an hour, you just in the short run you're going to look good, but you're wearing out your joints.
Yeah,
you're going to be like James Brown. You're going to need like a double hip replacement
and like a girdle, like that old guy girdle. Yeah.
James Brown didn't do that maybe he did for like an hour straight. Like he did different kinds of, and he had to get. I heard Prince needs a hip replacement. They did this from dancing.
Right.
Okay.
Right. Yeah.
So you're going to go on there, not selling any tickets, not making the money they're making, but you're going to do the same damage to your fucking hips. You're going to end up like Earl Campbell, and you never even got to play in the NFL and get any groupie pussy or nothing on an elliptical.
Not even a little, but no one's running up at the fucking 24-hour fitness after you tap out of your little simulated mountain climb. Like, oh, you fucked me in the locker room. You let me know how to. I brought you a towel, baby.
Yeah, nothing.
None of that. No, just
it's got to be nothing.
Are you done with that, buddy? Could you disinfect it when you get off?
What's that?
That's what happens. You get off the fucking elliptical. Someone comes up behind you and sprays Windex all the places you touched because you look dirty. I'm not. No, I stopped. I have a gym in my house, and I worked out really hard last year to get ready for a television role, and I injured myself, and that was like the end of that whole life of like jumping on a thing. And
I'm into using your own body weight.
Yeah, you're doing like.
I'm gonna get one of those pegboard things.
Oh, look at you!
I want to get one of those.
Hard. Do you do CrossFit?
No, I do. I do all old school shit.
You like?
And then I add yoga, the new school. So I stretch.
Prius.
And then I do.
And Pitbull.
Oh, but you know what's funny is
yoga. Body yoga, and then you're just like an old Russian guy throwing medicine balls at a wall.
Quit drinking, yet misogynistic. There you go.
2 steps forward, 3 steps back.
Liberal, but he likes to have guns. Not against gay marriage, but he thinks everyone should get a fucking job. I'm all over the map.
You're confounding. It's exciting. It's like you're like a Mobius strip of contradictions. So you have been doing your podcast for 4 years.
4 years.
I don't even think I knew. I'm pretty technically savvy. Technologically savvy. I don't think I knew what a podcast was 4 years ago.
I didn't either. Bobby Kelly told me about it, and
was he doing one too?
No, he wasn't. He started one, then he stopped, and now he's going again. Mm-hmm. And I was just something. It appealed to my loner side of me. I used to do them over my phone. They're all up on iTunes.
There are 1,000 of them.
And you can listen to them.
So if you want to hear Bill just get himself in trouble every week for an hour.
If you want to hear me an hour of my life every Monday for the last 4 years. So the first ones are actually shorter. Mm-hmm. It was almost like building a stand-up act, being able to just sort of talk. I mean, the first one is only like 20 seconds. And
it's free, really. I mean, it was in the sense of like just free association. You just get on there, talk about shit you want to talk about.
Well, what I do is the podcast listeners send me questions.
Oh, okay.
We have lists of stuff that you think is underrated or overrated. Mm-hmm. I might say something. I might talk about guns or smoking weed, and it gets people talking. Or I talked about church. One was my favorite. I had this topic called. It was the name of it was called "Oh Jesus," right? And I would just go off on how dumb I thought it was that people still believed.
There's so many.
Not that there was a higher power, that they believed in, like, when people had no concept of outer space,
right?
And you know, people they just
like
got done
the solar system,
they just got done praying to the sun god. There was no penicillin. The world was flat, and you're still reading this book that it needs to be. And the joke I was saying is like, I have to update iTunes like every 4 or 5 days. Why don't we try and update some of that? I understand the core of it. You know, the 7 deadly sins, the 10 commandments, all that I think is the shit. But there's other stuff, you know, the bottomless buckets of fish and the walking on the water.
Oh yeah, no eating.
And exactly all that type of stuff. So
don't wear two. If your wife wears 2 different fabrics at the same time,
she should be stoned to death.
Stone her to death. Yeah, that's a good one. That'll work.
Yeah. So
all you bitches in Polyblend right now, you're going down.
Yeah.
American Apparel T-shirt. Take it off immediately before I kill you.
Yeah. So that was basically it. So and with that, I would just riff. And at first, I would do the podcast. I would do it on the phone, and I did a lot of the early.
You would call your home answering machine? How did you?
No, I called into this website, Gcast, I think it was called, and you would call in, and I'd punch in my password, and then I would be in airport terminals, and I would make fun of fat people and the pilots walking by, and then I would talk about my weekend, and I was drinking back then, so whatever story happened, and then gradually, I just gradually updated it. Then I got the LS10, and I got the mixer.
He's got some technological.
But I'm still, people keep saying to get a theme music to open it, and I still don't want to do that. I like keeping it sort of grungier, like raw kind of thing.
A modern artist and shit. It's just like canvas and paint. This one's black.
Yeah, like I don't want to have like wacky sound. But plus everybody else is doing that. And then I also think that that there's like the format where it's just me.
Yeah.
Makes it unique.
It's stripped down. It's very unique. There's nobody else's show like that. I think there are a couple guys that are trying to do something like it, and there's a pureness to it for sure. I mean, there's a rawness to it. It's just Bill. You know what I mean? And I mean, guys have been kind of doing all kinds of different. I mean, which I respect. Like for example, do you listen to Scarborough Country?
I've done their show.
Oh yeah,
I haven't listened to it.
You haven't listened to it?
No.
It's to me, it's the most like radio of all the podcasts that I've ever done or listened to. I mean, like it's really produced. It sounds amazing. They play like I was like, how the fuck are you playing all this music? I mean, they really do a real.
Oh yeah, they do it down in like a studio.
They do it in a studio and everything, and it's great. It's great for them. And what's great is that they do that really well. They write for it. It's produced. And that's that show, you know what I mean? And then, like, I wasn't going to go in thinking, well, God, their show's so produced. I want my show to be so produced. I mean, the idea is to find a way to express yourself in the fullest.
I got into this business. I got into this business to not have a job.
Not have to do anything.
Yeah, I don't want to have a job. I don't want it to be work. Yeah. I'm not going to fucking sit there and then I got to splice together this and hire a goddamn producer. No, I'm going to run my mouth for an hour
and then hit stop.
And whatever that gets me is what it gets me. I'm not going to sit there and try and fucking, what is this person doing? And they're doing this and ooh, that seems to work. That's trending right now. And it's just like, that's the exact shit. It reminds me before I became a comedian and I would have some Michael J. Fox tie on going, is this what I'm going to do with the rest of my life? And there'd be some asshole wah, 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 at the front of the room. I'm going, I don't want to fucking do this. Look at the size of this guy's head. I'm going to listen to this asshole. I just didn't want to do it. And my favorite jobs were manual labor because there was
no one would fuck with you.
Well, there was a freedom to it. Like like when you were driving from job to job. I love that part where it's like, dude, it's the middle of the day and we're driving down the fucking street. I just felt like I was getting away with murder. And to this day, the whole of being a comedian who I'm fortunate enough to not have a day job, and the fact that someone can call me, but you want to go see Planet of the Apes at 2?
2 o'clock on Tuesday afternoon.
Let's go.
It's fucking. I mean, but there's the opposite thing too. Like when I put this thing together, it was the same thing. I just wanted to have something that was mine, that like nobody was touching or focus grouping or telling me why it wasn't going to work. It was just going to be my fucking show, right? And people can, like, half the people call in and say we love this part of the show. A lot of people write in and say we don't like that part. People write in and say they don't like that part. I go, that's great. Fast forward through that fucking part. This is my show. I'm not, you know what I mean? You
don't even respond to them.
I like to respond to people because right now I'm still fresh to me. I got like my 5 or 6 like emails so far. I'm like, thanks for writing. I appreciate it. But it has, and I love doing it, so I'm passionate about it. I don't mind giving up the time it takes to make the show. It's not that produced. I do this. I cut a little. I do open and a close. I have a music up. I mean, it's pretty straightforward. But yeah, I mean, you get to a point where you realize that like the freedom you have to just kind of do only the shit that you want to do, and it's a gift because a lot of guys don't have that. Just to talk about the shit you want to talk about. You know what I mean? It's a unique position to be in, even as a comic.
No, it's ridiculous, and it's that level of freedom that you end up becoming the booze hound that I became because once the dangerous thing is once you have an hour of material, you can just you really don't have to work.
No.
You don't have to work for like 3 years before your jokes will really start sounding stale.
But even then,
if you wanted to, which is a very dangerous thing to do, which is why I never do it because I'm so paranoid. Every time I have like this everybody gives a shit about what I'm doing.
You got that fantasy going on?
I have that thing, so which actually helps my comedy. So if I went to Dallas with the hour, when I come back, I feel like everyone in the crowd already knows every joke I've done. So that fear propels me to write more shit. So
I mean, that's a good fear. That's a good fear to feel. But it's funny because we were talking about this recently about working out here in LA, and I don't get out here as much as I should.
I can't get you to come out.
I know. I don't like.
For your listeners, every time I go, Aisha, let's go out. Let's go down to this club. Let's both go up and do a brand new 15. And you can't do it, like play a game. Like you can't fucking do. Yeah. And she always texts, I'm too successful. Everything's going great.
I fell back so hard I hit my head on the wall.
Oh, I missed that.
It was great. It was hilarious. No, you know what it is? It's just
the ratings are through the roof. I'm hanging with Spielberg. I can't do it. I want you to come down out of just selfish reasons because I feel like I'm the only one left from my generation. I'm starting to feel like Matthew McConaughey and Dazed and Confused. Like I should be leaning on some old cutlass. Hey, where are the parties, man?
All the guys, and I say that kind of generally because most of the comedians, and at least in my quote-unquote class, in our class, were guys. Yeah, there's not that many of us that get... Nobody, right?
I go down to the Laugh Factory. Nobody. From when we were down there in the 90s, nobody.
Nobody. No, not one person. Not a one. I can't.
Not a one. And now I'm getting these fucking people coming up to me going, "You're my favorite comic. I remember the first time I saw you, I was in the 7th grade." I was like, how old are you now? 26? Fuck. I'm like, oh, no.
I interviewed a comedian on the show. I haven't posted it yet. I don't know when he's hilarious. And he's like, yeah, I remember seeing you like when I was a freshman in college. I was like, oh, go shove it. Go shove it up in your butt and leave.
Yeah.
I don't want to talk to you.
No, because it always starts off great. Like it's feeding you. You go, you're my favorite comic. And they build you up like, yeah. I saw you when I was 4. My parents were progressive. They let me watch. They didn't care that you cursed. How are you now? 31, just got divorced. And I figured I'd give this. Like, oh my God, this guy's lived a third of a century and watch me on TV
for all of it.
It's
awful. It's
how many years? I mean,
18.
18
years.
I'm coming up on 20 in March 2nd.
Yeah. Yeah, that's mystifying just to say that. Because someone asked me the other day, and in my head, I was like, I don't know, 14, 15, and then I count. I was like, 18 years.
Yeah.
What? I mean, I think that's even a little conservative. Like, I'm past 18. You know what I mean? Like, I hit 18 in January.
It's LA. It's LA. You got to lie a little.
I'm 18.8 right now, and I mean, it's been great. I love stand-up, and I kind of went through all the period of like really, really being passionate about it, and then being frustrated with it, and then you know what I mean? Like, and now just like I love doing it. But when I'm here in town. We were talking about writing. You know, when you're on the road, you have an hour, right? At any point, you can drop a new 15-minute chunk in the middle of that hour, and you're not going to get a perfect reaction, but it's a pretty pure reaction. Because when you're working out here, you're working out material for the people you're going to perform your hour for. So yeah, it's harder to put a new 15 up in front of a cold crowd here in LA. That's going to be the toughest test.
Right.
But I never think if I do a new 15 in the middle of an hour in DC or New York or Chicago or Dallas that like I didn't really get the true test of whether this is a real 15 minutes.
Right.
You know what I mean? Which used to be the thing. It's like, oh, you're cheating because that wasn't really a workout because the crowd's already there for you. They're already laughing, whatever.
Right.
But
I think it's whatever works for you. I have like like when I know, like I have Nashville coming up this week, so
I love Nashville.
I try and
I got rained out on my last show there. Right?
Did you?
Yeah, when
rained.
That
flood.
Yeah, I've canceled my shows for the flood. Mm-hmm.
Well, I basically, if I have like a big show coming up, I make sure, even if I have to drive somewhere, that I can go do a half hour on stage.
You can barely
dust off my jokes,
time,
and you know, and just make sure that because I really feel like you just have to once they've paid to see you, you can't have that bad show.
Yeah,
I just feel like you gotta go in and kick the shit out of them.
Yeah.
The whole weekend. Once again, it goes to that thing that everyone gives a shit because I feel like I have the one bad show. They're going to text everybody else. Somehow they're all communicating.
Sell all their tickets back to the club.
It's it. He's peaked. He went over. He's done. Fuck him. Bring on the next redhead.
It's redhead. Yeah, the other redhead. Is there even another redhead?
Louis C.K.
Oh, Louis. He has hair?
Louis C.K.
His hair was red.
Huh?
He has hair. You have hair?
He's got it on the sides.
He's got some decorative. I didn't actually know that he was decorative. Sorry, Louis. You're never going to come on my show anywhere. I've met Louis C.K. like 30 times. Every time it's like the first fucking time he saw a black girl in his life. I swear to God. Every time he's like, hey. He like looks at me like a museum specimen. Shaking my hand with that confused look like, how'd you get in here? What's happening? We both have a show on the same network.
Maybe
every year.
How do you know that isn't how he processes I think you're cute.
I'm not giving him the benefit of the doubt on that one. He's been socialized properly. He knows what to do. Smile.
You know what it is? I think this is your issue. I think because he's the one guy who doesn't fall on the ground when he looks at your beauty.
No.
Yes, you do.
A whole fucking interior fantasy about how I see the world. It's
stop it. Stop trying to be the down-to-earth supermodel. I'm sick of it. I'm not buying it. I'm like a guy. I like playing video games. Get the fuck out of here.
The one chick in a room full of dudes my whole life, and I've never, ever, ever been like, somebody get me a drink. Somebody do this. I've never been that chick.
It's a great angle.
Okay.
It's a great angle. I love it.
You're not gonna.
I'd sign you if I was a manager. I'd sign you right now. I like it. It's a totally unique point of view.
We're gonna start talking about you some more.
Okay.
You were saying that you used to have a bunch of jobs where you had to wear a tie. Like, what did you do before you started doing stand-up? How did you get into stand-up? What happened? What's wrong with you?
How did I get into it? I have a panic attack about how I got into stand-up because if I didn't meet like 2 or 3 different people, like you ever think I loved stand-up, but it just like show business seemed like 9 million miles away. I didn't realize that, there was a Spaghetti Freddy's down the street with an open mic.
It was a job. It was like a skill that you could develop, and like there was a path you could follow.
I just thought like you had to go to L.A. I was living in the suburbs outside of Boston, so I was working in this warehouse, and there was this guy who I worked with, and he was into comedy the way I was, like a nerd. This is how much like comedy nerds we were. We used to go. I'd go over to his house, and before we went out, we didn't have any money, so we'd be drinking beers, and we would watch like stand-up Spotlight,
up at home and then go out,
and try to hit on girls or whatever. And of course, it never happened because we both lived at home with our parents. But we had our dream. But we would watch. We would watch like stand-up Spotlight and all that, and he would just sit there going, "Bill, we're funnier than these guys." Mm-hmm. And I'd be like, "Yeah, I know that guy sucked or whatever," and I wasn't really thinking about it. And then one night he just said, "Dude, one of these nights I'm going to take a shot of Jack and I'm going to go on stage and do it." And then all of a sudden it wasn't on TV.
Yeah.
Like if he never said that, I swear to God.
Really?
I swear to God. I would like to think that I would have gradually. I was a walled off psycho. Like way more so
but
now.
Your self-awareness is it's refreshing now that you see that.
I had no idea of any sort of, like, what are your hopes? What are your dreams? It had just all been so beaten out of me or whatever. By the time I was walking around and I was just going through the motions. Yeah, I thought I was a great guy. I thought I was, like, hey, how are you? How's it going? And everybody liked me and everything is great. I know how to say this is a great barbecue. I was that guy, but I had no sort of attachment to my feelings. I had no idea I was depressed. I had no idea about anything, and I was just walking. Nothing. I was this shell, and all my emotions. I don't know where they were. They were like down the street. And I swear to God, like he said that, and something clicked in me, and then I was just like, and then I got into comedy, and comedy to me was going to be the thing that was going to fix, because I knew I was fucked up, but I didn't have any sort of way of figuring it out.
Right.
I was too young, and I didn't know anything about myself, forget about other people. So I got into comedy because it was going to save me. It was going to be, all right, I'm going to go on stage, people are going to see I'm funny, and then everybody's going to stop fucking with me.
It's going to be awesome, right?
Yeah.
I'm going to get my way.
Girl of my dreams is going to walk up and be like, God, you're hilarious.
Great.
Let's get married and have kids.
Married and have babies. Fix all my problems. Yeah.
So basically, then what I did was I got into doing stand-up, and then all I worked on was being a comedian. And then after about 15 years, I was 15 years good being a comedian, but everything else in my life was still at the starting line. Still didn't hear the starter pistol, which is why I'm still not married. I don't have any fucking kids, because now I'm dealing with shit in my personal life that I should have dealt with when I was like 26, 27, 28. And I don't give a shit, because I would have been such a shitty father.
Right.
Back then, like
you dodged a bullet. I mean, a couple people dodged a bullet.
My kids, the poor woman that would have married me.
Oh, yeah.
And because I didn't know, I just knew, how's it going? Good. Everything's great. And then letting everything build up, and then absolute fucking, heat miser. I'd turn into rage. And this is the thing too, was I was actually would still be controlling it on a certain level, because
like the explosion wasn't even a full.
Oh, the level of rage in my house is so beyond what other people. Like, one of my brothers had one of the funniest stories. We just call each other up because we know we're fucked up. He goes, dude, you wouldn't believe this. He goes, the other night, you're seeing this girl. He goes, I was in an argument with this girl I was seeing. And he was getting into it. Going, this is getting ridiculous. And she goes, stop yelling. And he goes, this isn't yelling. And he just goes, this is yelling. And like, literally blew her fucking hair back. And, and that's the thing that we've all found annoying with these other people who aren't in our houses and in our family, was their line of what is yelling has always been annoying. I think I did a joke about that in my last special, where the amount, like 3 times a week, someone will say, why are you yelling? And I'm like, I'm not yelling. I'm just passionate about my views, and I want to say all of them until you get to talk again.
Right into your face.
Yes, that was the joke. So Yeah, and I hate it. I hate being an angry person.
Right.
I hate.
Is that something that you feel like is genetic, or is it something you learned? Obviously, this is like all your brothers.
I mean, I that you'd have to ask like a therapist. I think it's a little bit of both, but I hate that I cause tension.
Right.
I hate that my dog will sometimes just be looking at me, sort of like, "Is it going down? Is it going down?" And literally, I'm just sitting there watching like an episode of My Three Sons, and I'm wound so fucking tight. That my dog has been great for me. Because, that's like ridiculous, the level of love. I can't believe that there's a love beyond loving a dog. Like actually having a kid goes beyond that. Still blows my mind.
Just a few degrees past. Not maybe like totally, but like 3 or 4 degrees more.
No, you fuck with my dog. You're taking your life in your hands. So it breaks my heart when I see it. Like, and I worked at the trainer, so I know what to do. I take it for a walk.
Yeah. To calm the dog down.
To calm it down, let it walk off the energy, and then I bring it back. And then I really work on, like, my dog is my barometer. My dog is over there chilling. I know that I'm chilling, everything's good, but
you have a mood ring.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah,
I have a shredded pit bull mood ring. Yeah,
mood ring.
No, it's not crazy. It's
like just the dog, like feeling, just that the dog is so attuned to you emotionally.
Oh,
I mean, on a level that probably like the dog is feeling things that maybe you're not even presenting totally like in an exterior way.
Yeah. Well, I also know that like the dog gets excited when I come in the room because I play with it all the time and I wrestle with it. Like when my girl walks in, if it hasn't seen her in a minute, we'll get excited. But when I come in, immediately I just start. You just start hearing the tail thumping on the ground. Like, what's going to happen? We're going to play with the ball. We're going to wrestle. What's going to happen? And then that's not a bad energy, but there's other things. So I've really worked on. This is how far I've come. Like I didn't know how to have a confrontation other than just letting it build up and then flipping out of fucking nowhere.
Like just going psycho.
And coming off like a psycho. So this is how I started for other angry people out there, was when especially in this business, when manager, agent, booker, anybody, other comic, if I had a problem with them, I would take out a piece of paper, I would write the points that I wanted to make, and I swear to God, I would draw a smiley face at the top of the picture just to remind me that you can say what you want,
right?
Without
bursting a blood vessel.
The other person isn't going to automatically get mad and tell you to shut the fuck up.
Yeah,
because that's what was.
Like, so you were prepared. It's like, I'm going to get this all in because I know I'm about to get shut down. I know this guy's trying to cock block me. He's not even listening, so I got to just jam this into his face.
Oh yeah, and the poor people in my life during that period, they would just be like, "Hello," and I'd be like, "Yeah, listen, the other fucking day, we went to Dairy Queen." They're just like, dude, where is this coming from? And then what would piss me off is when you have a temper, what sucks about having a temper is even when you're right, the way you express it, you become wrong.
Right.
Because it's like, all right, dude. All right.
It's cool.
But, that doesn't mean you got to be calling me a fucking asshole. Like,
just because I shorted you $1 at dinner last night. And
that's the way people communicated it. I'm really making my family sound like they're psychos. It wasn't. My family was like the Brady Bunch meets like Lord of the Flies. So there was Sunday breakfasts. We went to church. We all had paper routes. My parents are awesome, but
a lot of screaming.
They came up
Irish Catholic.
They came German, Irish, Catholic, Protestant, the whole shebang. And but they came up. You just white knuckled it.
Yeah,
like you just went through life and but I could never have better parents. But it's what you do. You just take what worked.
Yeah.
And then I'm trying to leave the other stuff behind, and then
you're trying to unlearn a bunch of shit though. You're trying to dig it out. That doesn't just come out in a day. Like I think I'm going to start a new behavioral pattern. That's like you got to unlearn and then learn new shit. But
I've actually compartmentalized my temper, where I just made a rule: I don't lose my shit in the car anymore. So now when I
do a lot of pounding on the steering wheel.
Oh no! Like I would flip the fuck out, and I would forget that I was in a Prius, and I'd have that gay little beep beep, and then I would be. Screaming like a man in a...
Gay men and other Priuses are like, come on, now you're hurting us all.
Somebody needs to get his hair highlighted. I would be screaming like a man in an F-250 with a lift kit, and I would be in this Prius. So it was comical. And no, now what I do is when I see somebody do an asshole move, I've done that. You know, nice move.
What's so funny is the number of times when someone does something to me and I think it's fucking outrageous, like this person needs to be pulled from their car and set on fire. And then,
with a tire iron.
But I mean, just
standard.
To teach a lesson.
Right.
And then 30, 40 minutes later, I do the same thing in my car. And I'm like, but I have shit to do. I have places to go. So me cutting that guy off, this is just about priorities and my place in the world. That guy cutting me off, punishable by death.
Absolutely.
So I've been trying to do a little bit more of that.
Absolutely. And I find these people are the worst drivers. And that, like, East Coast, they're bad in an aggressive way.
Right.
But at least there's forward momentum to what they're doing.
They have something to do. Yeah.
Right. But out here, it takes about 9.8 seconds for someone to complete a right turn.
Oh, yeah. They think about it. Maybe this isn't where I want to turn. Maybe I want to pull over and make a call. The amount of times,
that's what I would do. I'd be in the car just going, go! Just what are you doing? Just
What's
go.
happening? What's happening? And the other thing you have, and this you probably have been affected by this. I was behind somebody today where I thought this person is purposefully riding their brakes to fuck with me. They got in front of my car, and they're like, "I'm gonna fuck with the bitch behind me."
You're making me feel better right now.
Yes,
Absolutely.
On the way here, coming to meet you, I was like, "This bitch, she got in front of me. She rode her brakes for a block and a half. I'm trying to see like around her. Is there a baby in the street? Is there like a runaway turtle?
Someone on a bicycle?
She's just riding her fucking brakes. There's no reason. There's 3 car lengths in front of her. It's the only time when I really truly get angry because I just feel like, don't you have shit to do? Like, and then it becomes about me. Like, why are you doing this to me? Why are you doing this?
And this is
to
what
me?
kills me about it. And they also lack the ability. You know, say like there's someone on the side of the road and they're riding a bicycle.
Yeah.
Okay, so I gotta share the road. So that thing where you drive along and there's someone next to you and you both sort of drift to the left.
Yeah.
I come in your lane a little bit. You go on the other side of the street.
Yeah.
That's like Pro 1, skill level 1,
shit.
East Coast.
Yeah.
And they can't. Every time you do it, they beep the horn. They freak out. It's like, dude, it's a second.
Eyeballs. Use your eyeballs.
But then they get on the highway and they're fucking maniacs. There's no the further left you go faster. It's whatever the fuck you feel like doing.
I feel like driving wherever I'm going.
Drive 40 miles an hour anywhere, past 90 miles an hour on the right. Like getting on the highway isn't hard. Getting off,
it's like Frogger.
Is fucking unbelievable. You gotta
click.
Yeah, like
totally.
Exorcist. Turn all the way around to make sure there's not somebody coming up doing 80 in the I get the furthest right hand lane. It's like that's the part. Like I'm a great driver, but I am terrified to drive on highways out here.
Yeah.
I just don't like it. There's too many cars. They're too close together, and there are no fucking rules.
No, there are no rules. No, it's like driving in like Malaysia.
Yeah,
like trying to get on a turnaround in Thailand. So you and I have known each other for a good part of our careers.
Please don't say the years. I've known you since '96.
Why you got to do? See, I wasn't going to do
Remember
it.
that?
You did it to me. I do. '96. Yeah, that's when we met.
Yep. We had that stand-up comedy team for like 3 weeks, and it didn't work.
Yeah, well, you know. I mean, it had already been done. It had already been done with that Dreesen and.
Somebody's going to believe that and
go try to look it on YouTube.
Yeah.
Burr and Tyler and Burr. Trying to think of what that was.
That's why we broke up.
That's because we couldn't agree
come
on
up with
whose
a name.
Should go first.
You have a great last name. I don't.
Ivory.
Yeah.
Burr's a good one. I mean, your name alliterates. You stopped calling yourself Billy a while ago. It's big.
You know, I started with Bill, and then for 4 years I went just so it would flow better. But I just never was. I don't know how people beyond a certain age
call themselves Billy.
Can call themselves. I think it sounds good with the last name, but it's just like. I mean, I don't give a shit if somebody calls me Billy, but just like I didn't want it like on the marquee.
Yeah. It felt juvenile, like you were going to come
did.
out. Like,
and then was something, and then my act too is just so
angry.
Is so angry. Here comes Billy. Let me tell you something about these gold digging whores. It just the whole thing. It's like I just really didn't feel like that was that's who I was. And then it also went back to that not being phony and having sort of a show busy name,
having an idea. Yeah.
And I was just like, why not? I'll just go by my regular name, and so it's. You know, it's just something that I ended up. I'm really glad I went back the other way. Yeah. But like I said, if somebody says Billy, I don't give a fuck.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like when I met you, you were in your Billy.
I was.
Those were the Billy years.
Yeah, the Billy
era.
Billy just moved to L.A. all wide-eyed. This is gonna be great. This is gonna be awesome.
Fresh scrubbed. He smells like soap and dreams.
Couple of failed pies later. Hey, go talk to Bill. Stay away from Bill.
Bill's over there, folded up in a glass of Jack Daniels. Don't get too close. He bites.
Yeah.
And then you were in New York for a while. I mean, it's interesting because you are. I would say of a lot of the guys that I know, you're definitely a comedy purist. I mean, you started out a comic. You've done a lot of really great stuff. You've done a lot of TV. I mean, obviously, Chappelle was big.
You obviously didn't look at my IMDb page. There are major gaps in that. You ever see when someone tries to grow a beard and they can't? I have the IMDb page version of that. There's big patches.
Burns and the patch don't match. That's just burns and the
mustache doesn't quite connect.
Chappelle and then one episode of Mike and Molly. But you've done some great stuff. But to me, one nice thing about you is you've always been a comedy purist. I mean, it's always been the center of your life and the focus of your life.
Right.
But you've also made a bunch of changes creatively. I mean, you were here, then you went to New York, and then what made you come back? I mean, like, what was that about? Like, because
all right, I never laid out a plan for I moved to New York. I'm from Boston. I did it 3.5 years, and I moved to New York. And like, to me, moving to New York was the most exciting thing I could, and be a comedian to me was the most exciting thing ever. In fact, when I was in Boston and I would be doing gigs out in Worcester, which is in the middle of the state.
Oh, yeah, I know Worcester.
You'd get on the Mass Pike, and there would be a sign that says Mass Pike to New York City, and I would actually get excited when I saw the sign, thinking someday I'm actually going to go to New York City to be a comedian. So I went down to New York, and I started that, and started from basically right bedrock, and just built myself up, and I wanted to become this great comic. And I ended up auditioning for a role on a sitcom, and ended up booking it. And that's like classic how Hollywood works. Yeah. Brand new guy, let's give it to him.
Oh yeah, he's fresh, he's new.
Yeah, and it makes you feel like this business is going to be easy. So I did that. We lasted half a season, and then I was out in L.A. It was called Townies.
Oh, okay, yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
I remember that. Right? Wasn't there a stand-up? Sometimes the police drive by.
Yeah.
Wasn't there a stand-up chick that was like the lead on that show?
No. That show had everybody on it. That show, Molly Ringwald, unknown Jenna Elfman,
wow,
unknown Lauren Graham,
what?
Ron Livingston.
What?
I remember him telling me that he had a movie called Swingers coming out.
Oh my God, that's bananas. That is bananas.
Conchata Farrell, who's on 2.5 Men.
Oh yeah, crazy.
Yep. And here's another one. This is going to make people try to find the box set. The
box set of 6 episodes.
Yeah, 6 episodes if they ever put it out. What's his face? Somebody had a 3-4 episode arc of dating Jenna Elfman, and it was the dude who ended up being the star, Eric McCormick of Will and Grace.
That's crazy. That's bananas.
Yeah, so this is the thing. So that thing ended, and
you would come out here to do that. Obviously, you come out to LA
to do that, and then my focus switched because I got a taste of that sitcom life, which is beautiful.
The money and the work.
And the hours.
The hours are so lean.
4-camera shoot, you're in and out in 3 hours.
Yeah, not only that, but you come for an hour on Monday, you read the script, couple hours Tuesday, do a little blocking, Wednesday you try on some
run through. Run through
so
Tuesday is the producer run through. Wednesday's network. Thursday camera blocking. Friday you shoot it, and then you're having drinks, eating quesadilla afterwards, and then it starts all over again. And you go 2-3 weeks, and then you get a week off hiatus, just in case you're tired.
Yeah, rest your face.
So the problem was I won the Super Bowl as a rookie.
Yeah.
So I couldn't appreciate it. And
not only that, but then you set a totally high level of expectations. Anybody in any business, and the rookie example is perfect.
Yes.
Where all of a sudden you're like, but I'm a winner.
Yeah.
I was born to this life. This is just going to keep happening like this over and over again.
Right. And then the thing went off the air, and then for the next 2.5 years, I struggled with my true want of wanting to be in New York and trying to become a great comic.
Right.
And then also having this Hollywood thing in my head, like, well, I was on a sitcom, I need to be on another one in order to feel successful, and I struggled with that.
Well, and that's what's expected of me. If I don't get another one, I'm going to be a failure on some
Everybody's
level.
talking about it. Everybody gives a shit about me, Aisha. Everybody cares about what Bill's doing, right?
I hear people were tweeting me, so we were watching Bill. Seems like he's pulling into do your podcast. So
in '99, I finally said, "Fuck it." I just knew that if I was going to get anything in this business, it was going to be through stand-up, because I felt like I could be a great comedian. I knew I could be a really good actor, but I had to pick a line that I was going to stand in. And at that point, I was watching guys like Chris Rock, one of my favorites, watching him get all this stuff because he had, just the best hour.
Oh, yeah.
That, I still don't know if someone's put out an hour that's really fucked with Bring the Pain. That became a classic.
Not just that's fucked with it, like purely on a material level, but for our generation of comics, everything about it, the tempo, like the material was incredible, but just everything about the way, the performance
and
style,
the whole thing,
energy
the
of
whole
it,
thing. And it was no bullshit. It came out, a microphone, did his shit, destroyed, blew your mind, and left, and that was it. There was no cheesy music, there was no nothing, and like that was a major inspiration for me. So then I just went back, and I just I had no manager, I had no agent. And I started doing everything that I wanted to do. I started doing, I always wanted to do the black rooms, or as they call them, the uptown rooms. I wanted to be able to do both. I wanted to basically
or as they call them, the black rooms.
Yeah. Yeah, no, because I always hated the uptown, the
urban,
funky Fridays, whatever they call it. So
aphorisms.
Yeah, I wanted to be able to do any of them.
Yeah,
because I hated being afraid on stage, and I was afraid. I was afraid on stage. Mm-hmm. I was afraid of those crowds. Like I was like beyond. White boy from the suburbs, right. And I'd come from Boston, and which was a bunch of angry guys from Boston, which I was.
Yeah.
So there was sort of like a blue collar tour thing to that, where it's just like redneck performing for redneck, angry Boston guy performing for angry Boston guys.
Right.
And then when I'd go down to New York, and it was all this mix of people, I would get really intimidated, and it was really frustrating because it's like I know I can make these people laugh.
Apollo.
Yes, I did.
Fucking Apollo.
I did the Apollo.
I got to tell you something. First of all, good on you. I would not do Apollo. That is a fucking hard ass crowd. And I can't remember how you did. I just remember thinking like, holy shit!
I survived.
Well, right? You made it all the way through.
I survived, and I definitely remember standing on the side of the stage watching a couple people get booed, really going like, you didn't really need to be here. You didn't have to do this. I could have stayed in my lane and not done that, but I knew that I had certain kinds of material that
would work.
Well, it was also I wanted to make sure I was saying it right. To be honest with you, like, there's that weird thing where you go out on the road, white comic, white radio stations,
right?
So they,
they don't. Put me, my audience base. I have a lot of black fans, but it is like a multiracial fan base.
Yes.
And they want to put me on the hip hop station. I'm like, I do not do hip hop material.
Right.
I know I seem like I'm going to match the photos on the wall. That is the only fucking correspondence you're going to have, and vice versa. That you could probably. You could go into a black room and you could destroy. But I'm going to say something that's going to be unfair.
Or I could get destroyed.
Or you could get destroyed. But I'll say something and you can tell me I'm wrong. I think white comics get a bigger ride. Not a ride. They get
just
almost
say
like
it. It's
free,
easier.
I just think
it's
white
easier.
guys have it easier in a black room than black comics do. If you're a black comic, they want you to do a specific kind of comedy, and any deviation from that line.
That's not true.
That's how I feel. I feel like they're looking for
the first half is true. The first half is true. This is what I end up feeling after a while doing black rooms. Is after a while, I felt like a mascot. I thought,
we have our white boy.
Like, isn't that quaint?
He's adorable.
He's actually funny. So,
hold on a second, please.
We actually have people walking in here. Wow, this is raw right here, people. This is going down. Aisha.
It's okay. No worries. It's okay. I'm not mad.
This is one of these guys. You tell them to leave, and it takes them 20 minutes to get it. You ever try to hang up with somebody? And that was like that moment when when you're on the phone. Listen, I got somebody on the line. I got to go. And they go, okay, yeah, just let you know, next Thursday. You like. But anyways, we got to continue this because I think people.
I'm really interested to hear your opinion about it. Actually.
All right, so this is what this was my journey through the whole thing. When I first went in there, terrified, total culture shock, and I was like, I have to get over this fear. I got to do this.
Right.
And I noticed there was two kinds of white guys that went up there. There was the white guy who acted black, or then the white guy who acted extra white, which is basically the closest version.
Hey, guys!
It's the step and fetching of white people where they're just like, gee, I don't get the slang. Like basically,
white people are stupid.
Yeah. With either one of those. So my goal was, I'm
not going to do either.
I don't want to do, I want to, can I go up and be me and get over? Mm-hmm. So I went up, and the first thing I did is I gave them what they wanted. Any jokes that I had that were racially based,
right,
or me dealing with race, or worried about getting mugged,
right,
all of that shit would kill.
You just kick that door open right at the top.
So
of the
that would kill and destroy. And I was like, okay, so I can do it. It was good. And then the next part was, okay, now can I do my mainstream room jokes in here? And then that was another challenge, which you can do. It's like, so a lot of people have that thought that you have to go in there. Like, I don't know what people talk about out here, but back east, it was always talking about being broke, roaches,
government cheese projects.
All that type of stuff. And
layaway.
And then you close with 15 minutes of you haven't been fucking your girl, right? and like the comics who felt this crowd won't let me talk about that,
right?
Never talked about anything else.
Right.
The comics who said I'm going to talk about whatever I want to talk about, would not only be great, it was like compelling, and it was so fresh to see something different. So,
but you got
I
to
would say
you got to kick that. You have to take like that 2 to 5 minutes up top to kick the barrier down. Which you know what I mean? Like you've got to get.
But you could actually go on stage and for 2 minutes talk about how you have to do that and just address the elephant in the room, and everybody is going to laugh, unless you're in an impossible situation where, you know, sometimes I used to do this show at this bar called the Bar Bat. Okay. And it was like, you know, they had people up the bell. It was the after work crowd. Everybody standing up drinking. So you had to go in there with,
you just got it like a murderer.
I'm white and I'm afraid of getting mugged. Like I had to do, like I just had to give them what they want. But in a club setting, you can do it. But that stuff that you say about it's easier as a white guy, it is. And it's the same way, the other way, that a black comic in front of an all white crowd can get away with leaning on the whole, oh, look at this white lady grabbing her purse. Look at her. You know, like anytime.
That's true.
Yeah, so you can do that. And if you have to, because believe me, I've been on stage, even though I try not to do it, there's been times where I've been bombing in front of an all-black crowd, and all of a sudden I'm tagging jokes saying, you know what I'm saying? And I'm like I don't say, coming out of my mouth? Why am I saying that?
I never say this shit. Yeah. No, I had a whole period when I first started out. I mean, we've been talking about this whole time kind of as a subtext, which is that to be funny, you have to be the most fully yourself on stage that you can possibly be. And maybe like an intense version of you or an exaggerated version of you, but you have to be fully yourself. I mean, I know there are guys that get up and they've got an act, they put on an accent, they put on a blazer, whatever. Right. But to me, like the guys that you love, the guys that you admire, are the guys that like fully inhabiting whatever.
I knew that was going to be too loud as I poured that in. That's not me urinating people. That's me pouring water in. Sorry, right in the middle of a great point, too. Go ahead.
I keep threatening on the show to do a segment that's called "What Is Aisha Doing?" where I just make noises. But you know that to be the guys that you admire and the guys that you love and that you want to emulate, not copy, but emulate, the guys that you feel like I'd like to be like that guy, are the guys that are just fully their fucking selves. They say what they think is compelling and interesting, whether that's terrifying or embarrassing or rude or scary or whatever it is, right? Somebody like Louis, somebody like Chris, it's like they're pure kind of honest shit. And I knew I was never going to be a Def Comedy Jam comic. There's none of that in me as a person on the street. And it used to make me crazy when I meet a guy. I was like, he'd gone to college, you know, he was like a fucking IT guy during the day, you know, he spoke like me, and then he'd get almost, this bitch in the 90s be like, what? And you're like, are you fucking kidding me? Really? This is what you want to do with your time? And so I knew I was.
That's because black crowds are the meanest fucking. They're like everything is on 10. If you kill, you're like, why?
People rip their shirts off. And
why am I not playing?
They throw their baby at you.
Yeah. Or like some of the meanest. It's so goddamn funny. Some of the funniest and meanest shit I've ever seen. It's, you know what it is? A lot of the times too is it depends on the crowd. Because if it's a church crowd, a black crowd, I've done that where you got to work clean. More uptight than red state white people. It really depends. But like I found in general that. Blue collar to broke people will say the funniest, meanest shit. They almost have like that, you know, that shit you had when you were in first grade where you just didn't give a shit. You're ugly. I don't like your face. Like it's literally
you smell like baloney.
It's you just say
your house smells like baby poo.
Yeah,
just come right.
You
in
just
the door.
literally say exactly what you're thinking. It's not that childlike, but it's the same
pure, like unmetered.
Dead silence in there, and someone just go, "This motherfucker ain't funny," and then everybody just laughs. And you want to get mad, but you haven't made them laugh, so it's like true. I remember one time bombing, dry mouth, sweating. I was down. It used to be called Mixed Nuts. It's now Comedy Union. Back
here in town.
Yeah, when the stage was in a different part. It was on the other side of the wall.
Yeah,
and I'm up there just totally bombing and dead silence. And this big black girl, like halfway, right in the middle of the crowd. It was a summer day, so just sound traveled. Yeah. And she just looked at her friend and just goes, I ain't laughed yet. And the whole crowd bursted out laughing. And then I was so nervous, I continued doing my act. And then they laughed at that. Look, he's acting like he didn't hear that shit. And there was nothing you could do. It was just this wave of mean honesty. He's sweating now. Now he's sweating. Oh, this motherfucker just needs to get off the stage. You need to come back when you got some better jokes.
Oh my God.
Go back to your white clubs. It was like everything was brutally honest and true. And
like no embellishment, right? Yeah, no exaggeration,
right.
Just pure shit. Yeah,
and I've seen that in like white crowds, and it's been the same thing. Blue collar to broke people, they don't give a. It's because he can't get sued. I don't know what it is. They just don't give a fuck. And dude, this guy fucking sucks. I'm funnier than this guy. It's the same thing, just a different accent. Should I not be cursing like this in this place?
This is our space. Despite the people that just wandered in here and tried to start a pool game.
Oh, right.
It's a nice room, so people are attracted to it. But yeah, I mean, so this is really interesting to me because I used to have to do the equivalent of your icebreaker in front of black crowds, which is.
I remember that joke.
Yeah,
I remember why you did it to, and I was like, "Oh, she." I remember going, "She has to do this."
To do this
you talk like a white girl. That bit.
Yeah,
I remember that bit.
Yeah. No, I don't. Oh my God! Because I had to get up and write off and say, "Yes, I know. I talk like this. Yes, I know. I'm not fucking Monique. Yes, we both know the same shit now. Get over it."
I'm on the Bryant Gumbel side of the tracks.
Yes, exactly. I went to high school with Will Smith's fucking half brother from Prince of Bel-Air. Let's just move past that shit. You know what I mean? Like, and if I didn't do that, it was dramatic. If I did that material, I'd have a good set in front of a black crowd. And if I didn't do nothing else that came out of my mouth meant anything because they were just stuck on that point.
Yes. And then they start whispering to each other.
Yeah,
and then it starts fucking with your head.
Shit, this hassa ditty bitch. So what the fuck you talk like a white girl? Like, and that would be it. Like, what are you trying to prove?
Right.
What are you trying to fucking get over on us? Now, luckily, and you're in this position now because you're fucking, I don't know, playing fucking the O2 Stadium or whatever.
Funny Bone in Columbus. I got that coming up.
No, you're in theaters. Don't do that.
No, I have a little bit of both. I'm never going to stop doing clubs for two reasons. The clubs is like going to the gym. You do your act 6 times. And then also, if I ever fall out of theaters, like it's not as far. It's not as far. It's like, well, he was always kind of still doing the clubs.
Yeah, he never like it won't hurt as much.
He was never fully in.
He just put a toe in. But now you're in a position where people came, they bought a ticket with your name on it.
Right.
So you don't have to spend 5 to 10 minutes explaining yourself every time you get on stage, which is nice, right? People come along with you.
And can also make you a little soft, I've found. Because I've gone up in some hell rooms where no one knew who I was, and I remember I did one in Glendale, and I legitimately bombed to the point I was talking about what was on the TV screens and the Lakers and making fun of them.
Ooh.
Yeah, they had no idea who I was, and it was completely not set up for comedy.
Right.
And I went up wire to wire, legitimately.
Just ate it the whole time.
Bombed, and it was
that hasn't happened.
And that was the first time I hadn't done it in years. How I bomb now is offending people, and then getting
them mad, and then they walk.
That's why I love going down to the comedy stores because just that mix of tourists. Like, I don't even know.
They don't even know why they're in there, and they think somehow Jim Carrey is going to come falling out of the fucking rafters and do 10 minutes. Yeah,
it's awesome. So if I can get somebody, who is easily offended.
Yeah.
And trying to find someone who doesn't know who I am is very easy.
Yeah.
And that becomes, I get to go, it's fun.
Yeah.
It's a fun thing to do.
It makes you tough, too. I always feel like, I say this constantly, people are probably sick of hearing it, but it's never the good sets that make you funny. It's always the ones where you scrubbed miserably. That's what makes you funny and tough. You go back, I got to fucking figure my shit out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm not as good as I thought I was.
You're getting your panel stories. Someday if you do talk show and you get to do panel, those are the stories you're not going to tell. I went up there wire to wire, killed.
Yeah,
isn't that
awesome.
funny? My show's great.
Then I fucking did a microphone drop. Follow that, bitches. I got carried off stage by 5 guys, and there was a big ass glass.
You should be suspended from comedy if you do that for like 10 days. You should get a 10-day suspension.
If you do a microphone drop at the end of your show?
Yes.
I'm not going to bring up the person who used to do that ridiculous microphone gag at the end of his act.
Ralphie May.
No. Does Ralphie drop the mic?
May did it on, I still haven't given him shit about it. I always forget to bring it up. He did it after doing 5 minutes on and he had a look on his face. The way he dropped that mic was like, no one should ever do stand-up comedy again because that 5 minutes is as good. And Ralphie, if you're listening to this, I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck.
Last comics, did he drop on the last comics?
Yeah, they had this.
And he made like the voodoo eyes, and I just proved it.
He had the head. No, he had like he was in the Professional, like he was a hitman. Like there's just no emotion. It's like that is it. comedy as we know it is over. Will anything ever be funny again? What else could that mean?
There's nothing else it could mean. That's it.
I love Ralphie, just for the record, before anybody tries to start a Biggie Tupac thing here.
Oh,
no
I
pun
would
intended.
love to see a Biggie Tupac thing between you and Ralphie. Just like some Twitter fighting.
Oh, no, fuck that. He's no joke. He lives in Tennessee. He has guns.
Kill you, actually.
Yeah, he would.
Right,
I'll see a red dot coming through my Prius windshield.
Well, before we do self-inflicted wounds, I could talk to you forever. But I imagine that we're coming up on. I have to look.
It's got to be an hour and 20.
Yeah, we're
there
good.
You
We're
go.
in good shape. There was like some really pithy question I had for you about comedy. Wait, how many comedy specials have you
What
done?
does pithy mean?
Pithy? Like deep.
Oh.
Yeah, like heavy.
That's fun. It doesn't sound like that. Sounds
I know,
like frivolous.
pithy, like more salient, like to the point, kind of.
Sounds like a white girl.
I really do. I know it, man. I do this radio show every Tuesday, the Stephen Miller Show, and people write in and they just go, it's like a fucking vocabulary corner when this bitch is on the air. Like,
I love it. I
used the word bicameral last week. You're actually a really smart guy. You just don't spend a lot of time, you didn't spend a lot of time in books. You got that street smarts. Get that Boston.
I don't even have that. No, I grew up in the safe suburbs. I always say the safe suburbs because ever since Good Will Hunting came out, everybody's like, did you grow up in Southie? Were you good at math? Did you say, do you like them apples?
Did
No.
your dad beat you with a wrench?
No, if I went into Southie, they would have kicked the shit out of me. So I stayed out of there. I wasn't Irish enough for those guys.
You like kind of Irish flavor.
Yeah.
So how many comedy specials have you done, you prolific fucker?
I've done 2 hours and I've done 2.5 hours.
Okay.
And I'm
Two halves for
gonna
Comedy
do
Central.
another one coming up
fuck you.
in the beginning of next year.
You fucker. Where are you gonna shoot it?
I'm trying to figure that out. I've
The
done
first one
San
was-
Francisco.
Why Do I Do This was the first one?
That
first
was
hour?
That was the first hour.
Yeah, we did it with
Yeah.
the same people, that one. And then the second was it. You did the second one at the Fillmore.
Second one was at the Fillmore,
How
and I
was
remember
that?
calling you up asking
Yeah.
how it was. It was awesome because on 3 different levels, because I love San Francisco,
Oh,
and it's a great comedy
Smart
town.
crowds.
Great crowds, and then I'm also a music geek.
Oh, yeah?
Beyond
Being in the Fillmore was bananas, right?
Yeah.
We both shot our comedy special there, and there's this room that's got posters from like every concert that ever
Yep.
played there.
That
like
was
the
the
60s
after
and
party.
70s. Oh, that's what we did. It was great, right? It was fucking,
Yeah.
you can't believe you're in that place.
Yeah, and I felt like the special, if you watch it, is all the second show. And
You did 2 shows and you
yep.
just used the second show.
Yeah, and that's another thing that I do when I do. But why do I do this? Was just one take. This is what you
That's how
get.
my first special was one take.
Yeah, which is stupid.
In retrospect, it worked because it had to work. Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean? It had to work. I had no choice.
But just being a rookie and I blew a couple of tags and I missed them, I was like, oh my God, that was my one chance to get it. I didn't. And I was like, Bill, you better get on your fucking game here because
Right,
this is
right.
going down. But I even did this. I have a CD. What I'm trying to do is I don't want to splice together 3 shows and create this performance that
That
technically
didn't happen.
happened but didn't.
No, but didn't happen. Yeah.
Yeah, so even though you miss a
Set
tag,
involves anyway.
Yeah.
Look, you can do an hour and feel like this hour is done and it's ready for TV, and
Right.
then get ready for a special. And 3 months later, it's not the same hour by the time you shoot it.
Right.
And even if you were going to do it between when the hour was shot and then when it aired, it's not going to be the same hour at
Yeah.
the point when you retire it. Like, because I think I did mine in like September and it aired in like January. I kept doing that hour till like I was
Right.
starting to like roll new material into it and like change it up. It was a different hour by the time the show aired, and then I
Right.
started doing a whole new hour after that. But shit's alive, you know what I mean? It's not like the show is.
I just
done.
try. I am more going out there like you're capturing a performance,
This moment.
this performance of this hour, and maybe I forgot this tag, maybe I forgot that,
But other shit
But
happens.
did I kill?
Yeah.
And then I just try to block out the cameras.
Yeah,
And I
just do
just
your show.
perform to them and just go off. And I remember after I did Let It Go, the second show, when I walked off, I remember saying to myself, "Man, that felt like a special." And it's been doing unbelievable
That's
on
great.
Like
That's
it's
great.
when you
Congratulations.
press on comedy, it's one of the opening things.
Oh,
So I'm
that's
getting all
fantastic.
these new comedy fans. It's been great. I got a huge show coming up in New York on November 11th.
Huge show at the comic store.
No,
Dangerfield.
keep going up. Carnegie Hall.
What?
Yes.
Go and fuck yourself,
You,
Bill.
you believe that?
Oh my
But
god.
this is a great thing though. But I'm playing the Columbus Funny Bone. See, I keep it gritty. That's how you stay sharp.
Keeping it
I
straight,
keep it.
keeping
Well,
it straight.
well, first of all, I'm also not. I don't know how big a draw I'm going to be in Columbus. Let's be honest here. But yeah, so that's kind of the formula I have. Capture the performance, then write the new hour, and I always make sure I have the funniest guys I can to open for me. I don't believe in that having a cupcake in the middle.
Exactly the same way. I bring one guy with me. He destroys. Because why would I make you pay money to see half of a good show? And if I'm,
and it's going to make you soft.
Why am I going to be the kind of fucking pussy where I can't follow? Right. I can't bring a funny guy in and be afraid to follow him. Like, I want the show to kick ass.
Yep.
Why not? And make me better.
Yep.
Like, you know.
But then what happens is every 3 years you have to replace your feature because they start headlining.
Oh yeah, no. You only want
because that's what ends up happening
in your life. You only want to hire guys that you think could take your job. You don't want to go around and hire a bunch of fucking.
I don't want someone to take my job. I just want them to push me.
Like, if I had a business,
believe me, I still want to be the
but like in the sense
guy
of
in the end.
If you were going to hire an assistant, you don't want to hire somebody you think is going to be an assistant in 5 years. You want to hire a guy who's eventually going to be so good and so aggressive and so good at what they do that eventually they're going to have to be promoted. Because you want somebody who represents you, who's as good as you would want anybody to see you as. You know what I mean? My guy who's hilarious is not he's fucking headlining like cruise ships and shit. I'm like, you little fuckface. It's not available to me. You know, he's great. He's funny. He's funny. You know, I'm not gonna deal with people being in the line and be like, "Wait, that you were so funny." Like, don't tell my feature you thought he was funny.
Yeah.
I can tell him. Yeah, I thought he was funny.
That's it.
Tell me I was funny. But he's great. Yeah, I don't get when these people bring somebody up that everybody has to tolerate for half an hour, right? Like everyone's got to get through the feature.
Yeah, and I'm already going to have to listen to your act 6 times, so I want to like it. And like, you know, I've had guys asked to open for me in a similar city that they did last time. My first question is like, how much more material have you written? Because because that's not fair to the crowd.
Right.
Because now they're coming to see me again, and then they're going to see you again. Mm-hmm. So I got to write all new material, and they got to suffer through your 20 minutes of what's up with the first Gulf War. It's kind of like the second one, but I figured I didn't need to write jokes about that one because we went back to the same place.
Just changed Kuwait for Tehran and then
Monica Lewinsky. Jesus Christ! Don't get me started. Look at my finger. Look what I did to it.
Look at it. It's
actually not even that bad anymore.
So just a minute ago, because I looked at it and I was like, Bill needs to exercise better hygiene because his finger's filthy. Because his like the ring finger on his
looks like
hand,
grease.
It looks like grease or like cigarette smoke. But you busted it, huh? It's like
I didn't break it. I got it. I was playing football.
Well, that's something you shouldn't be doing at your age.
What are you talking about? I know. I was just playing catch. Okay. I play. You know, at my age, you play hockey. Oh, because you're on skates. You're still fast. It's like landing on a mattress. I'm playing tonight. The ball was coming in, and it was on the other side. Yeah, and in my brain, adult brain, my ring finger.
Oh, okay. But did it go in?
No, it didn't jam. I hate jamming. Spraining I can take. Jamming is the worst.
It looks terrible.
Yeah, I'm also pasty, so it shows up way better.
Yeah, it's like blurple.
But my brain was going like, don't do that.
Right, don't
do that. And then my ego was like, fuck you. I got this. Watch this shit. Circus catch and the point of the ball. I think it only caught this finger and just bent the shit all the way back. I sprained it so bad, I had a bruise in the middle of my palm.
Oh, my God.
Like the tendon going all the way down. So...
Well, I could talk to you forever. And
all right, let's not torture people anymore.
I love it. People know this about me, which is one of the reasons why I started the show, is so that I could talk to friends of mine that I never get to see, and whom, even if I do see them, we talk for like 5 minutes, and then we go on stage.
Oh, so you blow me off and don't come out and do stand-up.
Or I ignore
exactly.
them. I ignore them generally because they're a hot mess, and you can only put up with them for so long. So... Do you have a good self-inflicted wound story? It could be a drinking story. It has to be better than you finding yourself in the back.
Self-inflicted wound. I just told it on Corolla's podcast here. I'm running out of stories.
No,
self-inflicted.
So I don't know what the one you told. Usually it's a drinking story, but it could be a terrible set story. If you've got like a really good scrub set.
A what?
A really good, like just a set where you scrub just your ass like all the way across the whole stage for an hour.
Oh, a brutal
or something
one.
like that. Yeah, or just, you told a couple of moderately interesting ones about, petting some strange guy's dog in the back.
Let's see if I have another.
You have another good one?
Self-inflicted one. How about this is a quick one.
Okay, that's all right.
But I almost died when I was 19.
Oh, my God.
I went skydiving in Pepperell, Massachusetts.
Pepperell,
Mass. And I guess when you go into the Army, like I don't know how long it is. Somebody said like a 1-week course, 2-week course. I don't know how long it is before they actually let you jump out of the plane. But this is one of these one day. We'll teach you how to do it.
In the morning, they show you how to stuff it into the backpack.
Not you don't pack your own chute. But this is not tandem. It was a static line jump.
Oh.
So it's basically like in the Army. You ever see those guys and it looks like they have a dog leash on them?
Yeah.
That's connected to the...
It's hooked in, right?
and it's hooked onto a rod there on the
Right.
plane. I don't know what I mean. I jumped out of a little plane. So basically, what it is, as you jump out, it pulls your chute for you.
So no matter what, once you're out, the chute's already.
The chute is pulled. So all you have to do
is just jump
is
out
well,
of the hole.
you have to sit on the. They open the side of the door. This little plane, and you sit in the door. The three comes. Sit in the door. Get out. Go. So when you get out, they had this little metal plate above one of the wheels.
Yeah.
Okay, and it's one of these deals where the wing is like on top of the plane.
The fixed wing plane. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So you get there, and then you hold on to the thing that's supporting the wing. You hold on to that, and you basically, it's almost like a yoga pose. Like you're standing on one foot with your legs straight, the other leg straight up behind you. That's get out, and then he slaps you on the shoulder, and he says, go. And then you go arc 1,000, 2 1,000, 3 1,000, look, if nothing, then you look down at the reserve chute handle, because if you don't look, you're not going to get it. Look,
Right.
if nothing.
Because if you don't actually look at it, you're just going to scrabble at your body.
You can be freaking,
panic,
yeah.
And then you hit the ground. Yeah.
So it's arc 1,000, 2 1,000, 3 1,000, look, if nothing, look, reach, pull.
Okay.
And if that doesn't open, you're fucked.
Then you're bouncing.
You're bouncing.
Bouncing.
So
Right into the
he
plane.
goes, they teach you this all day long for like, whatever, 3 hours, 4 hours, whatever. So I go up, sit in the door, get out, I get out, and he goes, go. Except I don't arc. I don't arch my back.
Oh, okay.
I instinctively, for some stupid reason, tried to reach for something. And I start doing front flips as my chute is coming out.
Oh, shit.
And I feel this thing going by my leg, which is my chute. I just saw sky ground as
my
my
God.
chute's coming out. And I was like, oh my God, I'm going to roll up like a ball of yarn and
Inside this chute,
I'm going to die. And the second I thought I'm going to die, the fucking thing was open because it opens that quickly.
Right.
And I have actually, I didn't then, but like it took about a week later, and I kept having nightmares about it.
Yeah.
Because when I really thought about it, because I thought it wasn't that big deal. The guy who told me to get out, like he had this look on his face, like, do you realize what the fuck almost just happened? So that's probably a
when you
shitty
landed,
story,
he's like,
but
Dad, you're here. Dude.
well, the place was ridiculous. The first thing they showed you a video talking about how exciting skydiving is, and then which basically segued into, oh, and if you die, you can't shoot, you can't sue us. You had to sign something, and there was a couple of mishaps that day. This fat girl landed across the street in a pile of loom and dislocated her knee.
A pile of loom?
Yeah,
What's loom?
like that landscaping shit you put down.
loam?
Loam? We call it loom.
Loom?
I don't remember.
You New Englanders and your
Yeah, whatever. So
fucking
well, what
jerk.
is? Well, they talked you down when you were up there. They had a little radio. Okay, pull down this toggle, pull down.
Right.
And she was, I don't know, you're supposed to pull it all the way down her knee. I don't think she could get around her hips. So she was kind of alligator arming it, and she was like, nah.
You laughing at that? That's not okay.
No, they angled her good where she didn't hit the tree. And they tell you don't look down at your feet because you're going to pull your feet up or something, somehow break your legs. So you're supposed to look at the skyline, and then as soon as your feet hit the ground, you're supposed to do this exaggerated, ridiculous roll.
That
and
seems crazy to me.
Everybody did the same thing. Your feet hit the ground, you did a face plant, and then you heard everybody laughing in your radio. But I didn't die, and it was something that I was going to do all the fucking time. And it really came down to I didn't know how to talk to women at that point. I was going to be like, I'm a skydiver. Say it loud. Maybe they'll come over and say something to me.
So when I was skydiving the other day.
Oh, yeah. I was going to have a scarf, stand near a fan.
Scarf like the World War I flying ace, the little goggles on it.
Yeah. And I never did it again, nor would I, and I won't bungee jump and all that. I learned at 19, which is a really young age, to realize how fragile life is and how fucking stupid it is to go out of your way.
Pay money to potentially die.
To go out of your and to have half a day of training and then jump out of a fucking airplane. I still can't.
And they probably made it about as like kind of foolproof as they could.
Yeah.
They
If you have me on again, I'll tell you the story of getting hit by a car.
Oh my God!
When I was a kid. We'll
Yeah.
use a little teaser.
We'll tease that next time Bill's back.
When you run out of friends in 9 years, little Miss Popular, you can have me back on here and I'll tell that story.
Look, when I'm playing the Kirkland Washington Ha Ha Hut, and you're fucking playing Carnegie Hall, we could talk about who's got more friends.
What are you talking about? Well, fucking come out. You got to come out.
When is that going to be Carnegie Hall? Carnegie fucking Hall. I swear to God. I'm like...
It's ridiculous.
I got to work through... I've got to work through all of it. It's great.
Yeah.
I'm so excited for you. Actually, I don't ever feel envy. There are people I like, and I think they're funny, and I'm happy when they win. So that's
Right.
like legitimately like the baseline, like 1 through 9 emotions that I have, and then the 10th emotion is fuck you.
I know. Well, I still can't
It's
believe
great.
it. I
It's
still
really
can't
exciting.
believe
You
it.
take like 1 million pictures, and it's
Oh yeah, you're not
insane.
allowed to videotape in there. There's all this bullshit, but you can. I can record and make a CD, which I'm going to. I don't know when I'm going to put
Live
it
at
out.
Carnegie Hall. What?
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna do that, and I'm gonna try to take it in as much as I can. But I better be on my game.
Yeah, you
I better
better.
not have one of those. I really didn't feel like.
Right.
Just to hear
I didn't sleep
doing
well.
okay in those unbelievable acoustics.
Huge. Yeah.
To know.
Smattering.
Yeah.
Was smattering of applause.
Yeah.
it's gonna be
I
great.
think I'll be all right though.
It's gonna go great.
Yep.
Thank you for
That's
coming
it.
on the show.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah,
I
it was
appreciate
awesome.
it. All
Very
right.
cool.